Yeah. All right. So here we are, still talking about oneness, a day at a time. Ain't that the truth? A day at a time. And so I always like to start the messages off with a few spiritual principles, also known as What We Believe by Ernest Holmes, written by Ernest Holmes. You can get a copy of these principles if you are on our mailing list. If you go to our website, you can also get a copy of what we are calling spiritual principles. This morning, we are working with spiritual principle number 1. We believe in God, the living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. Spiritual principle number 2, we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. Spiritual principle number 5, we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Spiritual principle number 10, we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. Now, sometimes with these principles, you got to take it in and you got to digest it, chew it up until you can digest it, until you can really digest it. It's not just that we take it at its face value. The principle said we believe in the eternal goodness. We believe in eternal love, kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. And our theme for the month, open to give and open to receive. So it is incumbent upon us to be open, to be open. The world-renowned Quaker and educator and author Rufus M. Jones, in his book, The Inner Life, says, I quote, by an unescapable spiritual gravitation, the best things in the universe belong to the one who is opened. And in the ancient texts, the teachings of Ptah-hotep, it is said that to the one who is open, no plan will go wrong. Note, he didn't say that things come to the one that's open. It's not that things come to those of us who are open. You don't want to miss the most important word. He said the best things in the universe. The best things, Leslie. The best things. Not things. The best things. You know what I mean? When I was thinking about it, I was like, the best thing? The best things in the universe? You mean there's something better than collard greens and cornbread? The best things, Kamara? You feel me on that? The best things in the universe comes to the one who is open, not to the one who is open and closed and open and closed, but the best things in the universe come to the one who is open. Not to the one who is open when it's convenient, not to the one who is open when you have a need. The universe can give you something if you are only open and closed. It can give you a little something the time you're open until the time you're closed, but it certainly can't give you the best thing in the universe. It is the momentous choice that we each have to make to be available, to be open. As I said last week, to be about that life. It's the choice that each one of us has to make. And in making that kind of choice, you want to be careful that in being open and being available, that it's not something on the other side of it. Not that you are open and available and receptive and receiving what the insight and the revelation so that you can hold on to it, so that you can pile it up, so that you can keep it. That's not what the invitation is. I want to read a little bit from Rufus M. Jones and his book, The Inner Life. And I'm reading from page 6 and 7 and a little bit from 8. But in his book, this book is about his take on the life that Jesus Christ lived. He thinks that there's much more for us to learn about living if we pause to take a look at Jesus' life in this way. So he says, when we are, the book don't say that, but when we are about this life, the inner life, he says, we have found a way of living that is no longer relatively good, but intrinsically and absolutely good. When you're about that life, your life is not relatively good. That means it's not dependent on anything outside of you happening. It's intrinsically and absolutely good. It's always good, in other words. Though we may not be peace-filled, we are peaceful. Are y'all with me this morning? In his reading, he goes on to talk about a life where we are piling up credits and merits that we can someday bring, that will bring to us a sure result. But he says that kind of life is pragmatic. He says just the entire pragmatic attitude Jesus the Christ left behind. And he points us to his inner way. His interior insight, he says, passes on to a new level of life, to a totally different type of religious aspiration, and to another method of valuation. For him, Jesus, the beyond is always within. The only good thing is a life that is intrinsically good. The only blessedness worth talking about is a kind of blessedness which attaches by a law of inner necessity to the character of the life itself. It makes no difference what world one may eventually be in. If only it is still a world of spiritual issues, goodness, holiness, likeness to God will still constitute blessedness as they do in this world. He goes on to say, when once this insight is reached, it affects all the pursuits and valuations of the soul. All, quote, other things at once become secondary, and being about this life becomes primary. Quote, making a life overtops in importance even of, quote, making a living. The life is more than meat, more than gaining the whole world. It is better, he says, to enter into life halt and maimed, with right hand cut off and eye plucked out, than bend all one's energy to preserve the body whole and yet to miss life. The way of life is straight. The entering gate is narrow. One cannot enter without facing the stern necessity of focusing the vision on the central purpose without getting single-eyed, without letting go many things for the sake of one thing. But you got to be about that life. And finally, he says, sacrifice, surrender, negation are inherently involved in any great onward marching life. They go with the choice that can be made of a rich and intense life. It is impossible to find without losing, to get without giving, to live without dying. But sacrifice, surrender, negation are never for their own sake. They are never ends in themselves. They are involved in life itself, the inner life. This goodness that we are talking about is what is obtained when we are about that life. See, we believe in goodness. Another way of saying that is we believe in joy, 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 joy. We believe in joy. I remember there was a group of us who was out for my birthday, and we went to go eat pho, or pho, however you say it. And it was a group of us, maybe about 8 of us, 10 of us, and we were eating and laughing and having a good time. And we noticed that the lady who was at the cash register was looking at us and kept looking at us. And finally she came over and she said, I mean, with seriousness, like, who are you people? And you're so happy. Like, why are you so happy? We believe in eternal goodness. We believe in joy, 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 joy. We believe in joy. See, you got to get this. You got to get this. The inner life, entering into life and seeking life, finding life, seeking within and finding within becomes our primary way of life. And after affirming our divinity then, after affirming who I am, we get to then, as I said last week, venture into the next question, which is, who am I to be? And who am I to become? And then this too becomes a primary way of life. Asking, who am I to be? Last week, Ernest Holmes reminded us, and if it is true, as he said, that if the kingdom of God, once perceived, is spontaneous and instantaneous, then that means that we too must be spontaneous and instantaneous in answering the question, who am I to be? You can't wait on it. Who am I to be? Then tomorrow you decide you're going to be it. No. When you ask who am I to be, we have to be spontaneous and instantaneous, be open to being it. Because if we wait, there's a great chance that we become calculating. And instead of being open to the divine presence, instead of being open to the divine guidance, instead of being open to the divine inspiration, you become calculating so you can get your way. So, in this way, we confuse being open with sacrifice. But don't confuse sacrifice with being open. We have learned, many of us, that we are to sacrifice, to give up. And there's a real distinct difference between sacrifice and being open. The question to ask, the question isn't what's in it for me, because we want to get our way. The question to ask is what's waiting on me. The universe says, or Rufus M. Jones in his book says, what's waiting on you? the best in the universe. What's waiting on you? Joy, 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 joy. But don't confuse sacrifice with being open. The question isn't, what must I sacrifice? As you're considering the ultimate question, who am I to be and what am I to become? Don't get it twisted. It's not a question of what must I sacrifice. The question is the question, who am I to be? Who am I to become? But it is true that this invitation, it does extend an opportunity for us to let go of some things. Certainly, it means that. You don't have to let some things go for the best things in the universe. You don't have to let your old idea go for the best things in the universe. You're going to have to let your desire to not forgive go for the best things in the universe. You're going to have to let your ideas of lack and limitation go for the best things in the universe. You're going to have to let your idea go that things can never change for the best things in the universe. If you bout that life. But many of us, then we used to go to church in hopes that somebody would tell us what to do and who to be. So we used to go to church for, hoping that they would tell us who to be and what to do. If it was only that simple, Marie, you know what I'm saying? If it was only that simple. But in it, mostly what I heard is, don't do this and don't do that. Don't be this and don't be that. Don't imagine yourself to be anything other than like everyone else. So that's a sacrificial kind of life. We think that somehow through our sacrifice, we are made whole. We think that somehow through our sacrifice, we are made holy. And it's not true. No, it is through embracing the sacred. It is through going deeper to discover that which is within ourselves that we come to know and we come to trust. So it's not a sacrificial life, it is a life of consecrated kind of life that we are wanting to live, to be moved by our inner life that says, do this and do that, be this and be that, be peace, be love, be joy, do this, pray, meditate, contemplate, journal, do you. Do this. It's a consecrated kind of life, not a life of sacrifice. When you truly are about this life, you find what is sacred about you. There's something so unique and sacred about each one of us that is awaiting our recognition of it. And it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And you've got to know this about your existence. And you find it in doing this and doing that. In your prayer time, in your meditation time, in your quiet time, in your communing with God, in the closeness and intimacy that you create in your own practice to come to know the divinity within yourself. As we discover, who am I to be? So it is the great quantum physicist Ahmed Goswami who says we have the rhythms mixed up. We sing doobie doobie doo, and it should be do do. Come on and get that rhythm with me. Be do do. We flipped it. So, here it is. If you are waiting on someone to tell you who to be and what to do, let today be the last day. If you're waiting on someone to tell you who to be and what to do, let today be the last day. Now is the time for each one of us to go deeper. Truly. Now is the time for us to seek the infinite within ourselves, to search within ourselves until we find some truth. Because truth is adequate. Listen, not my truth, but your own truth. Tell your neighbor the truth within you is adequate. The truth within you is adequate. It's adequate. It's adequate. The truth within you, it's adequate. It's more than enough. It's adequate. The truth within you is adequate. It is adequate. We like to say it's more than enough. Why are we doing this? Because it can only lead you and lead to you the best things in life. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness. We believe in joy, 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 joy. Listen, I don't stand up here and do this because I like to talk. The teaching, the inner life has stirred something up in me, so I have to talk. I believe in joy, 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 and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm about that life. Who am I to be? And then I'm going to go and be it. Who am I to become? And then I am becoming it. And then the next moment, who am I to be? And the moment after that, who am I to become? Oneness, a day at a time. It's eternal because I believe in joy, 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 joy. The best things in the universe. Not simply things, but the best things. Wrap your head around it. The best things. The best things. Practitioners, let us all wrap our heads around it. Let us anchor right here and right now in the one mind, the one presence, the one power that is so absolute, intrinsically absolute, that it is what it is. Let us become aware of it as our very life. All of it inside of us as we are inside of it. There is no way out. So let us in this moment just simply begin to embrace this as the truth of our very existence. I am one with God. And the best things of the universe is seeking me, is available to me. And I am available to the best things, to the best things in life. As we speak our word, we just simply unify with it as the very truth. Knowing then that nothing can get in the way of this being our experience in this life. There is nothing of old, nothing in the future that can get in the way of the best things in the universe that is seeking me and that I am available to. So I speak my word for you as I speak my word for myself. I am open and available. Everything in me open and available to the best things in the universe. No longer am I opening and closing and opening and closing, letting a little bit in to satisfy my desire to have my way. No, I'm open to the infinite and all goodness that assures that I remain peaceful whether or not I am peace-filled. I am open and available to the infinite love, to the greater eyesight, that even if I can't see this goodness, this eternal goodness, this eternal love, this eternal kindness, I know that it is there. I affirm for you as I affirm for myself. Any desire in me to sacrifice is simply released and let go into the nothingness from whence it came. And in me is a desire to become so at one with all of life that it becomes my way of life. To become so one with love that love becomes my way of life. To become so at one with peace that peace becomes my way of life. To be so at one with what is possible that possibility becomes my way of life. Oh, let us give thanks then for this day. Let us give thanks for every song that has been sang. Let us give thanks for every high and holy thought that has flowed through each one of us. Let us give thanks for this moment to look into each other's eyes and to affirm and know that there is goodness available to you as it is available to me, that love is always on the scene, that we are always peaceful. Let us give thanks and rejoice in it. Let us declare our gratitude. Hallelujah. I'm glad that you are here today to remind me and to mirror back to me the truth. I'm grateful. Grateful. Let us be so moved in this moment then just to take the words and to simply let them go. It's done. We claim it to be so. And we do so by coming together in agreement by saying, and so it is. Yes. And so as we journey on throughout our week, asking the question, who am I to be? Let us know that on the other side of that goodness awaits. Love awaits. It is eternal. The best things in the universe awaits. And so it is.